Be thinking to yourself, wow, that looks beautiful and I wish I was there. Well, let me pause for just a moment and let's rewind and let's start from where this really began. Because before the video editing, with the correction of the color, the music, and just tons of footage that was useless, it did not look like that. Instead, it was windy, we couldn't hear each other, there was a lot of direction given, and there was just a lot of stuff that wasn't used. But what did I post on social media? Well, I posted this, the thing that looks the best. And that's kind of what we're doing in our lives. My name is James and welcome to This Beautiful Crazy Life. As you guys know, social media has so much impact on our lives. We can try and act like the media doesn't impact us or doesn't affect us in what we see or what we buy or what we think, but it does. And right now, we live in a country where everyone seems to be a social media influencer. Now, of course, no one will say that they're a social media influencer when they don't have 1 million subscribers and they're not making money off it. But we all, in essence, are social media influencers. Even if we pretend that we're not, or that we're not trying to do that. Because no one, or for the most part, most people don't post things that are going wrong in life. Most of us post the good. I was just thinking about this picture here you guys see. So this is me back in 2013. And I was working in the Alaska State Legislature. I was going to college for politics, political science to be more accurate, and I really wanted to work in the legislature. When I was given this opportunity, I was very ecstatic. But my actual personal life was kind of a mess and there was a lot going on. And you will see all these pictures of me doing really fun things, going to events, meeting senators, and going to fancy fundraisers and dressing in suits and having a pretty nice office. I was actually very miserable for my time there. And it was probably the most depressed I was ever in my life. But I wouldn't post that. Why would I post, guys, I'm really struggling? No, instead I just wanted to show all the good things were happening, even though I was actually really miserable at the same time, which is a lot of people's lives. I mean, we have the good and we have the bad, but most of the time we post the good. I was thinking how you look at someone's social media and they are only showing you their highlights, right? You see everyone at the concert or everyone at a fancy restaurant or someone on vacation. It seems like everyone's on vacation, or that everyone's getting married. But in reality, that's not what's going on. What's actually going on is that we have a lot of friends on our Facebook. We have a lot of people, a lot of information constantly being fed to us. So while it looks like everyone's enjoying their most greatest moments ever, that's not true, because most people's lives are actually pretty normal and boring. And while we do have our highlights when we have a wedding or we get married or we go to that concert we've always wanted to go to, that's not normal life. Those are the highlights. But if that's all we're being projected to see constantly, nonstop, 24 hours a day, that's the only images, is everything that is cool and awesome and people are doing, just literally living their best life, it can look like you're not doing much in life. I'm going to show you some highlights from my own Facebook that I looked up recently. Here's me at the Great Wall of China. Here's me in Los Angeles. Here's me on a cruise in Alaska looking for whales. I live in Alaska, just so you know, so that way it doesn't sound as cool as it might actually be. I don't show you just sort of the day-to-day stuff because my average day is extremely average. I wake up in the morning, I sometimes read my Bible, I scroll through Facebook. I usually do pray every morning though. That's pretty consistent. And sometimes I'll go to the gym unless I just can get out of bed, and I make breakfast for my daughter and I drive her to school. We're getting likes and getting noticed for cool things we're doing is something that a lot of us get a high off of. No matter how much you use social media, whether you're a full-blown addict or someone who does it every once in a while, it's a kind of a cool feeling when people are affirming something you're doing or seeing something you're doing cool. I mean, that's why we share it. We want people to experience it with us to a certain extent, or even to show off something cool we're doing at worst. So here's a couple reminders to help you sort of get through that. First off, it's good to remember that think about the people you know in your life, think about the things they post, and think about all the secrets you know about them. Think about how you know their marriage is a mess. That's the worst example, but we all have someone we know whose life on the outside looks great, but anyone who's in it knows that it's far more difficult than that. Think of the person who you know struggles with money, but they're going on vacation like every single month somehow. But you know that they're in massive debt. Your life isn't less than someone else's. You might not have accomplished all your goals that you wanted to yet, but we are all on a journey. And it's something else to remember that for everything you think that you want, someone wants what you have. And that's just the truth. Some people look at my life and the things I've done or accomplished or been, and they would love to switch places with me. And there's times where I see someone doing something incredible, going somewhere, having this job that just seems awesome. But I know also that's just one part or aspect of their life, and you shouldn't crave for the life of someone else. What you should do instead is try to make your life where you want it to be. Know that the grass isn't always greener and we don't see everything, and know it's a process and we all have our time. I was thinking lately about the book of Ecclesiastes, which is a book in the Bible. And in this book, it's one of the wisdom literatures for those who don't know, but the preacher or the writer of the book, he calls himself the preacher. He talks about how he experienced everything in the world. He experienced all the highs as being this ruler of Israel. He had the most money, most possessions, experienced all the women he can. He did it all. He lived in absolute hedonism. Then in a day, as he reflected on his life, he realized that those things don't really bring him joy. The things that he highlights that do bring joy are things like friendship, a stable marriage, enjoying the one you love, good eating, good times with friends, and serving God. Your life is not boring. There is a lot of joy that can be found in the mundane. Find it, appreciate the things you have, and I promise you, you will love life a lot more. Things that COVID taught me that I thought was really interesting was prior to the shutdowns, the pandemic, and everything that's happened in the last couple of years, I did a lot of things. I had a huge friend group. I did a lot of teaching and stuff in my church. I led Bible studies. I had parties at my house and game nights pretty regularly. And for a lot of people, they would love to do that. They would love to preach a sermon or have game nights with tons of people or have these big birthday parties. But as I look back now, I actually am more happy than I've ever been, because a lot of that stuff I did, I think I was trying to prove to people why I'm cool, because I've always wanted to be one of the cool kids. When you grow up poor and you don't have a lot of friends growing up, you do have somewhat of a chip on your shoulder, and I wanted to prove something. But as I've accepted that I'm actually more introverted than I thought I was, and that I do enjoy quiet things, even though I do like to travel, and I enjoy game nights, and I don't have any problem speaking in front of large crowds of people, I kind of like the quiet more than I was willing to admit. I think for the longest time, I was sort of trying to avoid my problems and was filling it with experiences because I wanted something to make me happy. But over the last couple of years, I got to do way more self-reflection than I ever have. And I realized that I enjoy myself quite a bit. I like who I am. And while I do wish to have many other things in my life and travel more and have more money and hopefully, find the woman of my dreams, all those cool things there, I also know that my mundane life, my normal day-to-day, is a super great blessing, especially for, where I come from. And so guys, I just hope this message encourages you. I hope someone found this helpful. On this channel, we talk about politics, religion, theology, everything. We talk about everything and we do it through a Christian lens. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to like and subscribe.